Hello, this is the first of two videos that I'm going to do talking about ABF dollar accounts. ABF dollar accounts are a new concept we're proposing to introduce to help people pay for their bridge. This video's part one is going to look at things from the perspective of a player. Part two, that's coming later, will be looking at it from the perspective of a bridge club and the ABF. So if we start by considering what this means from a player's point of view, the whole idea behind an ABF dollar account is that it's really a bit like one of those public transport cards. You can run an account with the ABF, you can put money onto it, and you can use that money to pay for your bridge. I'm going to start by just going into the demonstration that some people may have already seen, just to sort of set the scene. So if we go to the dashboard, this area here, where we're talking about account balance, this is an ABF dollar account. And if we go and have a more detailed look, first thing to note is this is financial stuff, so we're going to have additional security available here. You'd get an extra code sent to your phone or something to access these pages, but right now we're just going to pretend we've done that and we'll go straight through and have a look. So this is taking us to a screen that's basically summarising, in this case Alison Stralov's ABF dollar account. So it's really just showing opening balance, incoming amounts, what we've spent money on, and a little graph. And you see over here, just like the public transport cards, you can set up auto top up, you can register a card, all that sort of stuff. I should say that if you're registering a credit card, the details are not going to be stored on our system. They will be stored through the secure credit card gateway. So there's no concern from a security point of view. We've looked a bit further down here. This will be a statement, and this is showing all the possible things that you might have spent money on. When we're rolling this out, our plan at the moment is to do this in 3 stages. So the first stage will be, you'll be able to use this to pay for entries to national events. The second stage will be extending it to be able to pay for state events and club congresses. And the third and final stage will be to actually use it for sessions at your local bridge club, so regular club sessions as well. So that involves a little bit more work. So the first stage, as I say, will be effectively for the national events. I'll also say no one's going to be forced to use this. If I go into the settings, there's going to be options around ABF dollars. You don't have to use them. You can elect whether you want to have an account. You're not going to be forced to do so. Likewise, an organisation running a bridge event can choose whether they're going to accept ABF dollars as a payment method. So it's all optional. We hope it's just going to be more convenient for people to just have the one account and not have to worry about it effectively. But it's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do now is go back into a spreadsheet model that's got this behind it, and we'll have a little bit more of a look at what making an entry would look like. So if we go back to a player statement, so this is like a spreadsheet mock-up of the page we just saw. Exactly the same here, statement down here as to what's gone on, and ability, and a graph and everything that you saw on the other page. So let's pretend that we were going to make an entry to an event. And if I go to a mocked up entry form, so in this case let's say the Spring Nationals, I've got a team of 4 players, I've put all the details in. One of those players is a youth player, so their entry is half price, so I've got a total of $525. Now let's suppose that I'm just going to pay all of that myself. So I go down to this option, I can just pay everything. I simply select my ABF dollar account, puts all the amounts over there. If I submit that, assuming that I've got enough money in my account, or that I've got auto top up created so that it will top my account up to cover it, the payment will just go through, and we'll see that everyone now shows up as green and being paid. And if I go down to the detailed list of payments, it shows up here as ABF dollars all paid. So that's a nice simple scenario, and we're just using our own account to pay for that. If we come back to the ABF dollar statement then, in this example, there's that entry, a Congress entry for the Spring Nationals, $525. That took our account balance down, so it's triggered an auto top-up that we've set before to top our balance back up again. But you notice there's a couple of other entries here now called transfers in. And that's simply, if you have paid for somebody's entry, players are going to have the ability to transfer money from their account to somebody else's. So in this case, two of the other players in my team, they've gone in and they've transferred the money back to me. So I paid up front and they're just transferring from their own account here. And that's a function that everyone's going to be able to do. So here we've got transfer to another player. Just takes us to, this would be a new screen in reality. We go down here, we select who we want to transfer to, put in a description, put in the amount, and make the transfer, or several transfers. So we're going to be able to move funds around that way, just to make things flexible, and that will show up in the statement of both players. If we go back to our entry scenario, let's now think about a different version where, suppose I only want to pay, or where it's just this pair that's paying. But this time, I'm happy to pay for myself out of my own account, but the other player, my partner, is going to use their account. So what I do here is I select individually my ABF dollar account here, but you notice there's another option up here saying players ABF dollar account. So that's saying that this person is going to use their ABF dollar account, not mine, to pay for this. If I do that, it goes through. My own payment goes through, again assuming I've got enough money in my account, but the other one, you notice, is showing up as amber, and if we look further down here, it's being described as pending. The reason for that, of course, is that we can't commit to taking money out of somebody else's account ourselves. We can nominate that that's how they're going to pay for it, but we can't actually force that to happen. That player will then get a notification from the system that I've put in a suggestion that you're going to pay for the entry this way, is that okay? When they confirm, then their entry will go through as paid. Alternatively, they can say no, they're not happy with that, they can come in and pay a different way, or they can even pull out of the entry altogether. So you're only able to commit money out of your own ABF dollar account, you can't commit money out of somebody else's. And that's basically it from a player's perspective. That will be what you do in the entry, and you will go back and be able to see these transactions coming through in your statement. So hopefully that's given you a little overview of how this is going to work, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you.